What if a single voice could slip seamlessly from uproarious laughter to a shattering plea for help in the span of one breath? What if that very person who could conjure joy out of thin air was also carrying a lifetime's worth of sorrow beneath that dazzling smile? In this story, you're going to hear the untold journey of a performer whose genius changed the way we think about comedy, and whose private battles remind us that even the brightest lights can cast the darkest shadows. Stay with me till the end, and you'll discover the true identity of this unforgettable soul. Born to a military family, our subject's childhood was defined by constant moves and high expectations. He learned early that laughter could bridge gaps, whether between strangers in a new city or between himself and an authority figure demanding perfection. He found solace in impressions, his little voice twisting adults' serious remarks into jokes that left his classmates in stitches. But behind that comedic facade was a young boy wrestling with deep-seated anxieties, the fear of not belonging, of always being the odd one out. Comedy became more than fun. It was armor. As a teenager, he earned a baseball scholarship, a path that promised stability and respectability. Yet the roar of the crowd in a stadium lacked the instant reward of a well-timed punchline. He enrolled at a prestigious drama conservatory, traded curveballs for Shakespearean monologues. There he immersed himself in the classics, Othello, Hamlet, Macbeth, and discovered that tragedy and comedy were two sides of the same coin. The discipline of rigorous stage training honed his timing. The emotional depths of classic theater expanded his range. He began to see that the power to make people cry and to make them laugh came from the same source of empathy. Upon leaving school, he took to smoky clubs, testing characters and voices on unsuspecting audiences. At first, the rooms were sparse, but he treated them like grand theaters, launching into rapid-fire impressions so vivid that strangers felt that they were sharing a copy with the real people he portrayed. His style was electric, borderline manic, but always grounded in warmth. He didn't just mimic, he observed, he felt, he inhibited. Word spread quickly. Agents and casting directors came calling, intrigued by the explosive energy he brought to every stage. Then came the television break that would turn him into an instant household name overnight. His portrayal of an alien with boundless curiosity showcased everything audiences loved about him. Physical comedy that defied gravity, a voice that could morph, and an undercurrent of innocence that made the absurd seem human. He was a phenomenon. Overnight, merchandise lines formed. Catchphrases entered everyday speech. And everyone wanted a piece of this funny man. Yet even as he toured the globe, bringing joy to millions, he never lost sight of the craft. He returned to live theater whenever he could, craving the quiet rigor and the unfiltered connection of live performance. Hollywood beckoned, with bigger stages and larger paychecks. He delivered. In war-torn comedies, he unleashed irreverent humor that exposed the absurdity of conflict. In inspirational dramas, he tapped into the well of compassion so deep it broke hearts. His talent for improvisation became legendary. Directors would hand him pages of dialogue and watch in awe as he spontaneously invented entire scenes richer than what was written. Critics hailed him as a force of nature, and yet, for all the accolades, he remained haunted by self-doubt. Every standing ovation was shadowed by inner critic whispering, "Not enough, not good enough." Awards piled up, including the industry's highest honor for a moving performance in a story about healing and forgiveness. But the trophies did little to quiet the storms inside. He battled addiction and depression for decades, seeking relief in pills and alcohol, then finding only temporary reprieve. Behind closed doors, the laughter stopped. He fought solitude, guilt, and an ever-present fear that one day the well of creativity would run dry. Friends recall an awkward silence between takes, moments when the world's happiest entertainer would disappear into a private darkness, emerging only when the cameras rolled again. Through it all, he gave back generously. He visited children's hospitals, performing impromptu shows in cramped wards. He supported veterans organizations, lending his star power to causes close to his heart. Some of the most powerful roles were inspired by real people he met, men and women who had sacrificed everything, only to return home with invisible wounds. He understood their pain because he knew pain himself. In those quiet interactions, he found purpose beyond the applause. In the final years, he faced a new adversary, a diagnosis that attacked his mind from the inside out. Yet he refused to bow out. On stage, he continued to radiate joy even as his body betrayed him. Colleagues speak of a performance in which he stumbled through lines that had once seemed effortless, then turned to the audience with a grin and improvised a line so hilarious it drew the loudest laughter of the night. It was a vintage hymn, fearless, generous, and achingly brave. And now, after walking you through this remarkable life, its dizzying heights, its wrenching lows, and its enduring lessons in empathy and resilience, it's time for the final reveal. The man who could make us laugh until we cried, only to remind us that tears and laughter often traveled hand in hand, was none other than Robin Williams. A funny man who trained among the great at Juilliard, who fought private wars against oppression, and whose tender, irrepressible spirit continues to inspire and console us long after his departure. Thanks all for watching. This is the Daily Pastcast. If you like this story, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video, and come back for more interesting stories.